got the impression that my mother didn't pay much attention to being pregnant. It wasn't that she resented it. There's no indication that she did. She simply ignored it. I was due in July. Between running out into the firefight with the thugs who chased Dan and Nina Neuer and actually giving birth to me, she worked hard to increase both Acorn's wholesaling and its retailing businesses. She was so successful at this that by the time I was born, the community was in the process of negotiating to buy another truck. They did eventually buy it. Most people had been nervous about having only one truck. Travis and his helpers had kept the old house truck running well and hadn't had to spend much money on it since they made repairs themselves, but one major accident would put the whole community out of business, or at least one of its new businesses. With 2 trucks, the beginnings of a fleet, my mother was looking forward to what she saw as a pleasant, reasonably secure future. She began to think less about Acorn and more about Earthseed, about spreading Earthseed to whole groups of new people. She wrote that more than once in her journal that she'd hoped to use missionaries to make conversions in nearby cities and towns and build a whole new Earthseed community, clones of Acorn. I think she especially liked this last idea. She even imagined names for the Acorn clones, like a girl thinking up names for imaginary children that she hopes to have someday. There was hazelnut, a pine, a manzanita, a sunflower, an almond. They should be small communities, she said, no more than a few hundred people, never more than 1,000. A community whose population grew to be more than 1,000 should split and parent a new community. In small communities, she believed, people are more accountable to one another. Serious misbehavior is harder to get away with. Harder even to begin when everyone who sees you knows who you are, where you live, who your family is, and whether you have any business doing what you're doing. My mother was not a fanciful woman, apart from her belief in Earthseed. That, I think, is why the people of Acorn trusted her so. She was practical, straightforward, fair, honest, and she liked people. She enjoyed working with them. She was a better than average community leader. But beneath it all was always Earthseed and a longing, an obsession, that was far stronger than anyone seemed to realize. People who are intelligent, ambitious, and at the same time in the grip of odd obsessions can be dangerous. When they occur, they inevitably upset things. In the first book of the living, my mother says, "Prodigy is, in its essence, adaptability and persistent positive obsession. Without persistence, what remains is an enthusiasm of the moment. Without adaptability, what remains may be channeled into destructive fanaticism. Without positive obsession, there's nothing at all." This is Lauren's daughter, Larkin, writing about her mother. I am in the middle of Octavia E. Butler's Parable of the Talents. Hi there, by the way. I'm Henry.
I'm Jacob.
And is Barney around?
Yeah,
Barney's right here as well. Welcome to Technopoverty. We read books as an excuse to play games as an excuse to read books, and we like to bounce all that off of you, the chat, just to chill, talk art, see what context we can derive, what it tells us about the current culture. You know, it's just a time to hang out and maybe point yourself towards some good ideas, some good pieces of art, and just take them out for the week and breathe with us. Hey there, Mask for Mask. So I wanted to bring up that particular segment because I didn't read a whole lot of Parable of the Talents between last section and now. The reason for that is because I think I've hit a very pivotal moment, and I kind of wanted to wait and talk about what we've been reading up until this point before we proceed with maybe the rest of the book in the next session, because as I was reading that passage right there, just to give you an idea of like the larger framing device of this story, I may not have said that much because I've been talking about the plot details. We know this is about Lauren. We know that she is surviving in the 2030s in a community she founded called Acorn, which is a self-sufficient community seeking to kind of live safely and peacefully in a very hectic time in this fictional piece of American history. There's a Great Depression going out there, folks. 2015 to 2030, according to the lore of the novel. Wow.
How about that?
I mean, on one level, it's a bit reductionist to turn this book into a wow, she predicted the future. But sometimes you really are just like, wow.
This is not because it is hard to predict the future of the American society when American society perpetually makes the same fucking mistakes over and over and over and over. Are you guys prepared for Kamala Harris 2028 or Gavin Newsom or something of that like? Because we're not going to be listened to, I'll tell you that. Let's get back to the book, but I wanted to bring up that we're listening to Larkin describing her mother because Larkin is, oops, I pulled out the bookmark instead of the note mark. Larkin is Lauren's daughter. She has a fraught relationship with her mother. She's writing after the fact. We don't quite know what happened to Lauren yet. But sometime in the future, we're reading her daughter's commentary on her diary and religious writings, and getting painted a rather different picture of Lauren than what Parable of the Sower showed us. Parable of the Sower was strictly from Lauren's point of view. And that book was about Lauren losing her comfortable suburban home in 2026. It was assaulted by just raving pyromaniacs. She had to live and roam about in a very dangerous environment, unhoused in California until they made it up north and found Acorn. As she was surviving out there in the streets, you do see this sort of murder hobo mentality, this sort of gamer girl mentality develop in her brain. And so I wanted to read that passage about Larkin talking about Lauren because, as you can see, there's a bit of an authoritarian in Lauren. She wants the communities to police each other in ways that prevent, secrets and small things from happening. But also, yeah, there's always that ambition. There's the Earthseed. There's the greater purpose. There's the bigger worries of the world, even though she's made a pretty good community for a group of families, although bad stuff happens. We'll talk about that later. I stared into the shadows, enjoying the quiet, family togetherness, content and drowsy, until Bankole spoke again. "You know," he said, "it took me a long time to trust you. You seem so young, so vulnerable and idealistic, yet so dangerous and knowing." "What?" I demanded. "Truth. You're quite a contradiction. You still are. I thought you would grow out of it. Instead, I've gotten used to it. Almost. We do know one another after 6 years. I can often hear not only what he says, but what he doesn't say." "I love you too," I said, not quite smiling. Nor did he allow himself to smile. He leaned forward, forearms on the table, and spoke with quiet intensity. "Talk to me, girl. Tell me exactly what you want to do in this place, with these people. Leave out the theology this time, and give me some step-by-step plans, some material results that you hope to achieve." "But you know," I protested. "I'm not sure that I do. I'm not sure that you do. Tell me." I understood then that he was looking for reasons to reevaluate his position. He still believed that we should leave Acorn, that we could be safe only in a bigger, richer, longer established town. "Convince me," he was saying. I drew a long, ragged breath. "I want what's happening," I said. "I want us to go on growing, becoming stronger, richer, educating ourselves and our children, improving our community. Those are the things that we should be doing for now and for the near future. As we grow, I want to send our best, brightest kids to college and to professional schools so that they can help us in the long run, help the country, the world, to prepare for the destiny. At the same time, I want to send out believers who have missionary increments. Send them to family groups to begin Earthseed gathering houses in non-Earthseed communities. They'll teach. They'll give medical attention. They'll shape new Earthseed communities within existing cities and towns, and they'll focus the people around them on the destiny. And I want to establish new Earthseed communities like Acorn, made up of people collected from the highways, from squatter settlements, from anywhere at all. Some people want to stay where they are and join Earthseed the way they might join the Methodists or the Buddhists. Others will need to join a closer community, a geographical, emotional, intellectual unit." I stopped and drew a long breath. Somehow, I'd never dared to say this much about my plans to any one person. I'd been working them out in my own mind, writing about them, talking about them in bits and pieces at the groups and the gatherings, but never assimilated it all for them. Maybe that was a mistake. problem was, we'd been focused for so long on immediate survival, on solving obvious problems, on business, on preparing for the near future. And I've worried about scaring people off with too many big plans. Worst of all, I've worried about seeming ridiculous. It is ridiculous for someone like me to aspire to do the things I aspire to do. I know it. I've always known it. It's never stopped me. We are a beginning, I said, thinking as I spoke. It's as though Earthseed is only an infant like Larkin, one small seed. Right now, we would be so very easy to stamp out. That terrifies me. That's why we have to grow and spread and make ourselves less vulnerable. But if you went to Halstead, he began, if you moved there, if I went to Halstead, the seed here might die. I paused, frowned, then said, Babe, I'm no more likely to leave Acorn now than I am to leave Larkin. That seemed to rock him back a little. I don't know why. After all that I've already said, he shook his head and, staring at me for several seconds, what about President Jarrett? What about him? He's dangerous. His being president is going to make a difference, even to us. I'm sure of it. We're nothing to him. So small, so insignificant. Remember Dovetree? Dovetree was the last thing I wanted to remember. So was that state senate candidate that Mark mentioned. Both were real, and perhaps both meant danger to us. But what could I do about either of them? And how could I let the fear of them stop me? This country's over 250 years old, I said. It's had bad leaders before. It survived them. We'll have to watch what Jarrett does, change when necessary, adapt, maybe keep a little quieter than we have for a while. But we've always had to adapt to changes. We always will. God is change. If we have to start saying, long live Jarrett and God bless Christian America, then we'll say it. He's temporary. So are we, and living with him won't be that easy. I lean towards him. We'll do what we have to do, no matter who's warming the chair in the Oval Office. What choice do we have? Even if we run and hide in Halstead, we'll still be subject to Jarrett, and we'll have no good friends around us to help us, to lie for us if necessary, to take risk for us. In Halstead, we'll be strangers. We'll be easy to pick out and blame and hurt. If vigilante crazies or even cops of some kind come asking questions about us or accusing us of witchcraft or something, Halstead might decide we're more trouble than we're worth. If things get bad, I want my friends around me. Here at Acorn, if we can't save everything, we can at least work together to save one another. We've done that before. I'm not certain how to write about the next episode in my parents' lives and in my life. I'm glad to have no memory of it. I was only 2 months old when it happened.
Welcome back, Kirsten.
I sketched the boys quickly while listening to their enthusiasm and making suggestions. I was just finishing sketches when the maggots arrived. A maggot, nicknamed in its ugly shape, is something less than a tank, and something more than a truck. It's a big, armed and armored, all-terrain, all-wheel drive vehicle. Private cops and military people use them, and people with plenty of money drive them as private cars. Maggots can go almost anywhere, over, around, or through almost anything. The people of Halstead have one. They've used it now and then to collect pincole. Several small local towns have one or two for their cops or for search and rescue hills. But the things are serious fuel eaters, expensive to run. That Friday, 7 maggots came crawling out of the hills and through our thorn fence towards us. There had been no warning from the watchers. Nothing at all. That was my first thought when I saw them coming. Where were Lucio Figueroa and Noriko Cardos? Why hadn't they warned us? Were they all right? 7 maggots. That was 3 or 4 times as much firepower as we could muster if we brought out every one of our guns. Only our truck guns would have even a ghost of a chance stopping a maggot anyways. 7 of the damn things.
Jesus. You're like, where are you getting this fuel?
Yeah. So that last excerpt I read, those maggots, 7 of them, they are from the Christian American denomination of, I guess they're Christian militarists. They're armed thugs, armed paramilitary thugs acting on behalf of the Christian America organization, the religious organization, the newly elected president, Jarrett. I always forget Jarrett's first name or last name. I forget the dude's full name. He's a real asshole. We only ever hear about him in news reports. President Jarrett, though, he's being a meanie. He's being a bitch. He's rallying his cult, and as described there, 7 maggots, 7 military vehicles. I'm going to rewind a bit and talk a bit about the plot up to this point, and then we'll talk about what happens when the maggots raid the camp, because it has been horrific. Hi there, gang. We're going to start up Death Stranding 2 now. But Jacob... Yeah, I'm very, very worried for where our characters are going in Parallel to Sower, especially knowing how much her daughter loathes her, how much signposting there's been that she is quick and prone to extremist actions, and that once her sort of tenacious religious zealotry stops looking at productive ends and looks at destructive means, I don't know what's going to happen. It's interesting to me because she has been a murder hobo and the singular cult of personality leader of her gang. And this fits into some of the cowboy stuff we were talking about last time. Just a heads up, I'm not hearing game audio. And I don't like that. Gang, we might take a moment to figure out that. Are y'all hearing Death Stranding? Also, welcome Sleepy Jane. Welcome again, Christian. Mask for Mask. Jari.
Y'all. So good to see you. Masks, Sleepy. L-Man.
Because I see here in OBS, game audio is going through.
Yeah, just on our end for some reason.
Yeah, it's just our headphones. Just our headphones not working. Okay, well, we're going to fiddle with some chords. Jacob, we were talking a lot about movies and hero narratives and all that stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
Yesterday, last stream. I just want to throw a sort of statement or a maxim out there, or a question, or a thesis.
Yeah, what are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I was thinking about how we're talking about, heroes in movies, and I was thinking about TV in contrast to that. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my headphone jack then. Real quick, gang, just before I get too lost in the woods with these chords, I just want to throw this out there. Yep. Movies present exceptional heroes. This is something we're talking about with the exceptional individual, the man who has to eject himself from society after solving all of society's problems, because like he's so good he broke the system and things need to like reconfigure. So cool. This is part of the explicit text of the Matrix. But what I'm saying is movies present exceptions. TV is all about reinforcing rules. Cops, jail, prison, emergency, 911, fire department, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, night court.
Night court!
But do you get what I'm saying? Like the way serialized television, especially of the NCIS, CSI variety, is all about presenting like regular or the appearance of regular, the everyday, and how these systems of law enforcement or governance rub up with and manage the everyday. And within that is just, NCIS, CSI, propaganda that's probably much newer that I don't know about because I'm not watching television like my boomers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the weekly TV format requires the status quo.
Like, you think it's not like that?
Yeah, Kirsten caught the night court thing.
Yeah, night court.
Okay, what is going on?
I still remember whenever I worked at that male sex toy factory watching Divorce Court on lunch.
Yeah, I'm thinking about break rooms I've been in where programs such as Jail are just on the screen. Just Jail. Just watching
word jail.
The criminals get crime busted, even though it's just dudes watching women have mental breakdowns and holding. Wow, what a nation.
Wow, what entertainment.
Maybe I don't have the monitor out going.
Hey, baby.
Yeah, it's on monitor and output. I don't know why I'm not getting... Chat, I'm gonna go hover on the break screen really quick. I may have to kill and restart the stream. I don't like that. I don't want to quit OBS. I don't know what else tech reason-wise it would be doing this for. We'll be right back, gang. Mass for mass, Jacob says, hell yeah. I literally just like, can you hear anything now, Jacob? Because I can. Yeah, there we go. Wow. I literally just used the hard volume up, volume down buttons on the MacBook.
Yeah.
And it just snapped into working. Like I didn't unmute anything. I thought I was gonna have to go into preferences and just like reroute from like the external or the, yeah.
Yeah.
Smooth orders. Let's see, what are we doing, gang?
Or mine is, but it's very low.
Very low?
Very low. Better, yeah.
Better?
Still low, but like, weird. Fuck it, let's rock.
Yeah, I think we're at comfortable cruising speed finally after that whole tech sidestep. After reading all that stuff from Parable of the Talents. All right. Let's reorient and figure out what we're doing. So I just want to run through some of Parable of the Talents in case I feel like I've been talking a lot about it on a metatextual sort of analytical level as far as details I'm noting the stuff, but I haven't been really talking a lot of tangibles with folks who may not be reading it. I guess I'll start by talking about how she brought up that there's a wholesaling business to be had. Two things I find interesting. One of them I'm just now realizing because it wasn't the reason I picked what I picked for reading. There's the wholesaling business, which again, to talk about these stories is they're not post-apocalyptic stories. It's just, it's the Great Depression 2.0, 3.0.
Yeah.
I know there's been other depressions in American history. There was like the Long Depression, I think it was called, in the late 1800s.
Oh, I've not heard of that one. Interesting. Because it's long.
But she is able to use these trucks to do a wholesaling business and again, a shipping business, trading goods up and down Northern California. And also notable in what I read, no, let's not go that way, is they can send people off to school. There's still an education system. There's still crafts. There's still trade school. There's still means of sharing knowledge in that way. But then at the same time, things are such that everyone has armed guards because property laws and free-for-all.
You know, that whole thing.
You know, the government can just roll up on you with 7 tanks and take over your shit, which is what is happening there with those maggots. It's just the first half of this book is so much about they get that truck. And when I call it a truck, think of it as like maybe a bit more armored up, about the size of an RV. Like it's not you know, a Chevy Avalanche or like a
huge F1, like souped up.
It's not like a souped up, like thinking more like a semi truck they can use for hauling, and there's like armor on it, automated gun systems, that kind of a thing.
Damn, that's pretty tight.
Yeah, so they get 1 and 2 of those. Beginning of the novel. So the beginning of the novel, as we said, or as I said as I was reading in the description, she remembered Dovetree. Dovetree is the opening incident. Dovetree's their neighbors who were attacked by the same religious nationalist fascist group, except
at the beginning of the novel, the Dovetree people were just slain. Like, the fascists weren't yet in full power, so they just snuck up one night and shot all the Dovetrees in their sleep. As you see, by the point we're at now, they have the president's blessing to just roll around in tanks.
Is there a fat little dog behind me?
Oh, yes, there is. Oh, good pull, Ja, good pull. I do think Butler's prose is deceptively excellent, because she's talking to you in the voice of what is at first a 15-year-old girl, then a 17-year-old girl, then a 20-year-old girl, through these diary entries, and it's so brisk and readable, and that's the intention. Like, a kid that age isn't going to be trying to like ape Faulkner. She's just trying to write clear and directly what she's going for. But there are slight evolutions of just like conceptual approach and like self-image in the writing that I find very interesting. I also do wonder what it sounds read back, since it is such a casual, indirect, like I'm giving my testament. Like, she really is speaking to the future when she's writing those words down in her diary.
Also, Jari, getting the audiobook from your library.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we love to see it.
But yeah, so just to kind of re-walk through what we've read up to this point, and this is also me just kind of recollecting myself as we get to this very tragic halfway point. Yeah, the Dovetree Farm, raided by a hate group that wasn't quite fully in power yet, but you know, Lawrence and some people from Acorn, they go to the Dovetree place. They find that the truck is there with a lot of dead bodies. There's been the whole battle with Dan Mora and his family. They retrieve the truck. They retrieve Dan Mora. Dan Mora's losing, like, can't find his sisters. So they decide, you know, we're going to keep the truck. We're going to use it to start the wholesaling business. And while we're traveling around doing that business, we're going to help Dan Mora find his sister. They do not find Dan Mora's sister. First, they find Lauren's brother, Marcus. And Marcus is been through a hell of a life as a slave in the past 5 years. He's also grown pretty religious because of it, and he has these disagreements with Lauren over what kind of religion she's practicing. And he brings us up at the Earthseed gatherings. And it's interesting to see, because through him what we get an evangelical dude questioning the Earthseed ethos, and the Earthseed community gets to like earnestly address his concerns. It's kind of like hearing somebody actually talk about like leftist platform policy versus seeing a liberal on Twitter who's like, leftist going up ahead, everyone.
Leftist bad.
Oh shit! Good timing. All right, safe truck.
Yeah.
All good. Hell yeah, my dudes.
Fire it up.
But Marcus decides Earthseed's not for him, and he leaves. Dan Mora, frustrated he's not finding his sister, decides to run off as well. A few days, sometime later, Dan Mora comes back. He found his sister. And chasing Dan Mora are more people from that hate group, the one who wear the white crosses, black robes, love their president boy. Dan Mora found his sister. He also died bringing her back to Acorn, but now his sister lives there and is a contributing member. While this is all happening, Lauren's pregnant. Her and Benkole have been trying to conceive. They successfully conceive. We know Larkin's going to be born. Because of this, Benkole really wants to go to Halstead, as I was reading in the excerpts. A safer, richer, more longer established community. But Lauren just sees Halstead as another suburb that's eventually going to get burned down. I kind of side with her, even though, we're only in her perspective, so maybe I'm a bit biased there.
No.
But again, the part I read, she has it out with Benkole. She convinces him to stay. They give birth to Larkin. She births Larkin, and Benkole, he's a father, Christ due, but also, she's delivering the baby. That is her body, putting out that human being.
Pretty impressive.
Anyways, they have Larkin. They decide to stay for good at Acorn, and that's when the maggots roll in. I have not, but I've been meaning to check out the Kindred books, Jare. This is my first foray into Butler. Yeah, let me know how that goes, because there's a lot of Butler out there, and I'm all pretty curious about it, especially liking how deftly she writes this current one. Ooh.
What is this? It sounds like her plots move fairly quick too, like as far as like things happening in the stories, like.
That's the thing too, is like the plot is very easy to retrace. Like what I'm accounting for happens over 200 pages, and like the actual bullet points of like what leads to what, the causal affects, very clear, very easy to recount. So much of it is in the ideas and the arguments characters are having over said ideas. Where am I right now? You know what? Yeah, let's get back over the mountain. And down there. I don't want to go down there though. Or down there. I'll take these 2 orders on. I suspect once I get to Hartman's lab, I'll be pretty close to... I suspect I'm getting close to the end of the campaign, as mentioned by, I think Sleepy Zane mentioned it. So I'm kind of casually using this time to roll out the side quests I feel like. And you know what? I'll see how the story makes me feel about actually completing all the infrastructure. Gang, I may do less of Death Stranding 2 than I did of Death Stranding 1, even though I feel Death Stranding's 2 systems are funner. Where am I even trying to go?
But you know what? There's a lot of games out in the world.
There is. I kind of want to move on to stuff, but I do also want to keep this block of books going. So I know we're definitely going to keep following Kojima, and we're going to dive into some other science fiction stuff, so keep this kid Stanley Robinson coming. We want to talk about postmodernism in Frederic Jameson, and that's definitely room for Metal Gear Solid 2. So, you know, we'll see where we go.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to think that book signing we went to with Behind the Bastards gentleman.
Robert Evans?
Yeah, his book.
Oh yeah, we do have After the
too.
Revolution.
That one's kind of a really fun one too, but also deals with like a far right extremist state. But I listened to, they had a podcast for that one as well.
I do like, so I haven't read Behind I haven't read After the Revolution, but Robert Evans, Behind the Bastards, he also put out the It Could Happen Here podcast, which, despite being a very heavy subject matter, it's him exploring the what if of like if another American Civil War happened. It did a lot to alleviate or reaffirm some feelings I had about like, I don't think if there is a Civil War, it's going to happen in the way any of these people think. Like, we're too broke, we're not healthy, we don't have infrastructure.
People still got to get jobs.
Again, that's one of those podcasts that really illuminated my insights into like post-apocalyptic fiction, because he talks a lot in there about like case studies of like disaster zones where people don't turn against each other, you know, folks helping themselves out after floods and hurricanes, that kind of thing. Jari, this day and age, I listen to Behind the Bastards dependent on subject matter. There was a Greg Bavino episode recently that was pretty good. Definitely check out the fucking Burford Pusser episode that came out, I want to say last year. It wasn't too long ago. They put out a Burford Pusser episode, which a fascinating American character to me, because Burford Pusser is the Tennessee small-town sheriff who the movie Walking Tall is a fictional adaptation. It's a fictional adaptation of his life events, where the way he tells it, he became the small-town sheriff of a crooked town. He kicked the mob out. He was the nicest guy. He hired a black guy, so he can't possibly be racist.
Yeah, because the biggest dick.
Don't question what happened to his wife. The mob totally did that, not Burford.
Nice. Yeah. Real American.
But I really enjoyed the episodes Robert put out on Burford Pusser not too long ago. It also makes the movie Walking Tall kind of interesting to examine, and because otherwise it's just a very shitty movie from the 70s. It's like one of those. It's like a revenge fantasy movie, but it was before they knew how to like make the genre good. So it's not slick like Death Wish. It's not like libidinal like Dirty Harry. It's not like Bullet, where like it's at least like intelligent about what it's entertaining. It's just a dude, like the dude just goes to a casino that he's more than happy to participate in the illicit activities of. And then he gets in a fight at the casino, and they beat his ass and kick him out, and so he goes on a personal vengeance quest against the casino.
Oh, so he's just embarrassed. It's not even like, I'm gonna make it
there's never really like a good rationalization of like for the greater good that he's doing this for. We're just supposed to accept that like, oh, he's suffering as the sheriff, so we should really respect him, even though like every scene has his wife crying and begging for him to stop, and he just has to be like, woman, stop nagging me, I'm doing my righteous duty. And it's just like, wow, knowing he killed his wife, it's pretty fucked up how these scenes come across. What a morbid piece of American cinema.
What a fucked up thing.
Yeah, Sleepy Zane, it's extremely scary. I think that's kind of like what's interesting about right-wing cinema to me, is like it's so, when it's not working, it's because like it's so clearly off base about the assumptions of like how things work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how racist jokes require you to like be at like baseline agreement about racist assumptions, where like it's just like, buddy, you're playing baseball on a soccer field. I don't know what the fuck you're trying to do here.
Yeah, it's just not working. Ain't what this is about.
Oh no.
No.
Honestly though,
dude, that's cool.
I might fuck this up, but I want to catch another Pokemon, so let's see if this works out. This is why oh, it's a flying type?
What the fuck? Ooh.
I don't know if I'm armed well for this, but let's see. Let's see.
It's cool as hell.
This Shadow of the Colossus ass, like, how do I, okay, this is like really cool, but it's probably gonna kick my ass because I'm just not prepared for this. I thought it was just gonna be another one of those squid whales. Oh God.
I'm ready for the squid whale.
Yeah, I'm not, oh man. Yeah, I need like one of those grenade launchers or something.
Damn. Yeah, Sleepy Zane, unfortunately, there's probably a lot of people.
Yeah, Sleepy Zane, and getting back to what we were talking about for like exceptional protagonists, I mean, that's what I'm fearing for with the way Parable of the Sower is going, because like, the way Larkin talks about her mother, I'm not sure if she establishes her happy, peaceful cult based on how the military raids on the camp. So here's the thing, once those maggots roll in, that part I read, you know, they get knocked out with gas. There's a paralysis gas that all the troops are shooting off. They're not there to kill Acorn, they're there to enslave them.
Terrifying. Where have we heard this before?
They get this stun gas, and it's very horrifying how Butler describes the paralysis state they enter, because she likens them to like feeling like planks of wood. And to me, that evokes Dante. You know, we talked about this last year when we were going through the Divine Comedy. Well, we went specifically through Inferno while playing Dante's Inferno, but the way all the weapons, because they get gassed, they get paralyzed, they get collared up, the way all the weapons and materials reduce their human autonomy, because, you know, they can't make choices once they have the collars. They can't move once they're stunned. They're reduced to trees. They're reduced to objects. It's just very good, and not just the story describing or saying like, and then they got enslaved, but making you feel the dehumanization process. It makes you feel that Lauren is becoming reduced. All the women get kind of locked in this one cabin and chained and collared up. And they're stuck there for days, paralyzed. Not days, but hours, paralyzed. And as they're paralyzed, Lauren starts shouting out, taking the morality toll, kind of like taking attendance, making sure, accounting for who's been lost, who's killed. Zara is dead. Zara has been her closest female friend since the suburb burned down. It's really impactful the way this happens, where it's like she was just so small she couldn't handle all the gas. On top of that, if Zara is so small she couldn't handle all the gas, what does that mean about the children? They have no idea where the children are right now.
Damn.
Most of the men seem to have been taken out in combat. The women are led to dig graves to bury the dead, which includes Binkole, Lauren's husband, who we have been endeared to so well over these past 2 books. I know I'm spoiling a lot of plot right now, but trust me, There's still a lot more to the book besides just the plot. Again, I can recount in the screenplay format the causality of shit. Okay, I really need to take care of this guy, is the thing. Do I have something with better range? But amongst all this, when Lauren is taking role and like re-establishing communication with everybody while they're all locked up, she goes on a very fiery revenge sermon about how we're gonna have to survive and listen, and even if they sexually assault us, we might have to, you know, bear it for a moment. I need everyone. She gives them a "we're gonna kill these guys" speech, and like given in the past, she's always been the preacher at the gatherings, even in the first book before any of this happened. When she spoke at her father's funeral. You know, her first time speaking, it was exactly what the community needed to hear at the time to kind of reinvigorate them to keep going forward. She does exactly that here, except as her daughter notes in the commentary, you know, when that's pointing towards something constructive, cool. When it loses sight of something constructive, though, what the fuck can that, you know, do to a person? I'm very worried Lauren's about to drink her own bullshit when it comes to this protagonist syndrome. And the focus of Acorn isn't going to be about community building, isn't going to be about enduring the future, isn't going to even be about education, but it's going to just become a burn it down, we have 2 trucks, let's start our own little thing going, militarization campaign. We'll see, I guess.
We can do this to other people.
You know, rightfully do want her to slaughter all these white supremacist Christian nationalists that have destroyed everything we've come to love. I'm just worried she's not going to be able to stop once she crosses that line. And I suppose given the foresight the novel has planted by having her daughter doing commentary on her writing and having her brother having commentary as well, I have a healthy amount of skepticism, whereas if it was still solely Lauren we were reading about, I'd be like, hell yeah, what happens next, girl? Let's fucking kill these guys. But that just shows you Butler's like considerations as a writer. She understands like what Lauren is an individual, and there are structural and systemic things she may burn down or turn her back towards minding that, yeah. Let's see. Have I just walked into this poorly equipped?
Entirely possible.
Entirely possible. I'm wasting grenades here. I'm gonna test the bomb.
Are you okay, Sam?
Frozen. And because I didn't want to get too far ahead in Parable, because I felt this hinge point was kind of really important to take a breather for, I did end up reading August Wilson's Fences this weekend instead, because it's February.
Hell yeah.
And I think Fences, the story of Troy Maxson, a garbage man growing up, a garbage man living in 1950s Pittsburgh. He's in his late 50s. He is so bitter and entrapped and made himself a stone by these same kind of conceptual things. He had a very rough upbringing, a very rough life. He has been chewed out by the machine so much that all he can do is reciprocate that towards everyone he's related to.
Yeah, circle.
Yeah, the cycle of masculine self-harm that he perpetuates, just graphic stuff. Oh man, I need to get to Graeber's debt. I only have the dawn of everything. I know Lux has told me debt as well is like just as important and crucial. Equally as important and crucial. Okay, okay.
That's terrifying. No, don't laser starfish anus us. It's rude.
Pardon me for a moment, gang.
What we got here, folks? Oh.
Sorry about that, Barney.
Barney.
I'm much less sick this week, but still a bit snotty, so
Oh, yeah.
got a bit of a surprise there.
It's going around.
All right, we can capture this Pokemon. I got this.
There you go, baby. Yeah.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
Oh, I know.
Is that why being a Pokemon master conceptually just appealed to the kids? Is it the hyper-individualist culture we grew up on just happened to really jive with what Pokemon was teaching in some way?
Yeah, then like the culture of like wanting a pet, you know?
Yeah.
Pokemon, you had Airbud, you had fucking Homeward Bound before those earlier times. I'm trying to think of other weird like animal things that got people in that. It was a psyop, I understand. But it's the kind of psyop I can get behind.
Is it a psyop or just the functions of the cultural mechanisms? People are like, oh my god, they were brainwashing us with Power Rangers, they're all different colors. It's like, I think they were just trying to tell you to get along with people who are different colors than you.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to have distinguished characters.
Text. I don't know if that's like a psyop.
Right? I mean, if you consider anything that people are doing that's calculated as psyop, then yeah,
Right,
I guess.
right.
Like, yeah, sure, it's psyop.
You watched Airbud Golden Receiver when you were homesick from school on 9/11. What a 9/11 mask! Wow.
What a horrible way to spend 11.
Okay, can I capture this one? Because they have to like open their maw. I have to like throw it in their mouth. I'm not sure if I can get this guy to open his mouth.
Put it in my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. I may just have to shoot it.
I'm afraid you dropped some cargo.
I know, dude. I'm fighting a monster. I get it. All right. I guess I'm just gonna have to eliminate it. I've let this go on for too long. I just wanted to catch a cool squid whale and maybe use it against the monster line while the Godzilla-esque theme plays.
Yeah, it's all they wanted.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted to do the Ikafood score again, but that's not happening. Elmad, the degradation of human value. The dehumanizing aspects, yes.
Ooh, dehumanization, you say?
What is this? I was like, why is it still liquid? Where are those crystals? They're way over there. Okay.
Oh, fuck me.
Where's my truck? Where's my truck?
My truck.
There's my truck. Yeah, Sleepy Zane. So, I feel like the Death Stranding games, I didn't believe this already, but they definitively put to rest this dumb fucking line I always hear people say, where they're all like, Kojima should direct movies, that's where his interests lie. Because no, I don't think Death Stranding 1 and 2
are as
They're not
well
movies.
directed in the narrative department as, say, Metal Gear Solid's. And I think, while they do have heavily directed narrative elements, like these, clearly, like the grid of the game is this: it's trekking through things, it's filling the snow, it's the different devices, and there's so many kind of like added-on systems and side systems that like they're all cool in Death Stranding 2. They work together on a mechanical level, but there's not much narrative thought or rhythmic thought put into like the way they deliver the narrative of the game,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, like they're two separate kind of pieces, but
I think, for instance, like the Higgs, for instance, seems to be just there because Kojima, in some sense, feels there needs to be an antagonistic force, but it's not like the same kind. It's not like a fleshed out, like ideological antagonistic, like character, and like it's not cinematic, it's not literary. He's just sort of there as an obstacle in a very video gamey way that's not fully cooked, and like I don't even think it necessarily needs to be fully cooked because there's so many other aspects of the game I've just been really gelling with. But like, it's like, no, it is definitively like the game part of this game that I like. I really have just been, I mean, how many times can Tomorrow just kind of kung fu fight her way into saving Sam when Sam's stuck in a situation, you know?
man.
And then Rainy just kind of shows up and washes away the convoluted thing that Sam was stuck in as well. It's like, it all resolves and answers itself in very like almost too simple ways. You know, I'm talking about how Butler's been planting all these seeds of where things are going to be going, or you know, reasons to be worried for where things are going, because like so many disparate details start adding up, and I just feel the disparate details in here are just, you know, big parts of a big disparate thing. A fun disparate thing, but you know.
Yeah, but still disparate.
Yeah, see, that seems to affect it as well. Sleepy Zane is the rewriting and writing. What's Elman saying? I haven't been able to keep up while I'm rambling.
Oh, talking about the mechanisms for like dehumanization. Let's see. One example that was fascinating was that the Romans would present a captured male with a meal and their weapon. If they did not off themselves honorably, they would be struck across the face. If they did not retaliate, they would be taken as slaves. Gotta love fucked up mind games, you know?
Yeah. I believe there's an RPG called Tyranny in which you are shanghaied into a fascist empire, and the way the fascist empire recruits you at the start of that game is they slaughter everyone in your hometown, and whoever's surviving, they give swords, and they're like, all right, y'all gotta kill each other. Whoever survives gets to stay in our army.
God. You know, I found out that was really horrifying recently was that like a lot of like special ops, CIA and FBI, like if they kidnap you, they typically will do it, like they'll kidnap you from your bedroom. Like you will fall asleep and you will wake up in a completely different place, and depending on what they think is the funniest. I was like, that's scary.
Yeah, Elman, I find it fascinating too because I've seen some essays that bring this up in general. I really need to read the book in specific though, because yeah, it's the social. There's like abstract ideological rationale behind it, not just economic. And over time, with history, economic rationale starts to slip in and dehumanize even further. This is one of the things I hate about. I saw this Daily Wire post. It was like it was some Daily Wire dude on at Babyland. He was posting videos of Babyland, and this reel was playing this very old argument I know I've heard since the 90s, which is like, I don't get why white people should be upset about slavery when Africans were selling slaves to Europeans. They were enslaving their own, which ignores the whole complex political landscape of Africa as a continent. You know, there's several countries there with their own names and governances and their own political grievances and cultures and conflicts.
It's a whole continent.
Historically, too, yes, slavery has appeared in many societies in many forms, but the particular form of chattel slavery, the English developed in Barbados, which went on to be the widespread model that influenced the American South, was the cruelest form of chattel slavery yet discovered to date, because you didn't have to reintegrate those slaves into society, you didn't have to eventually start paying them or give them a house or education in return. It was just about running them to the ground. It was, I own this person forever, I can trade their kids. There's no wider reintegration mechanism like some of the Greeks, Romans, and other historical cases have. The evolution of the concept is something to be considered. Like, slavery isn't the same thing for the many thousands of years it's been practiced.
You mean systems and ideas change within that? That's so weird.
Also, yeah, man, I like what you're bringing up in contrast to liberation theology. Yeah, Sleepy Zane, just seeing that too, knowing, like, you know, the Daily Wire dude at Baby Lines doing that shit, you know, there's susceptible 17-year-old shitheads out there, they're just gonna eat that up and then go be a little Charlie Kirks in college about it.
Yeah.
The motherfuckers.
And then wonder why no one wants to sleep with them. I want Nick Fuentes to think I'm cool.
An old man doctor gave me that exact argument, motherfucker.
What if you just say the black people who did it too felt bad? Like, what if that's the argument? It's like, well, they did feel bad, so do you feel bad now? Like, what is the...
See, Jari, and indentured servitude. See, the presence of indentured servitude too does, if anything, show the double standard that, like, certain ethnicities were above a passing line and could qualify for, like, a here on debt repayment plan that eventually led to freedom, and other people it's just like, no, you're going on the infinite slave train forever. Enjoy that. Oh no, Mask, not Twitch. Only to end up in the worst situation for a few generations. Yeah. That whole indentured servitude bit, though, like, that is also why, like, an actual history of labor and leftist movements in America is needed, because in erasing or not wanting to look at the way the white working class has, you know, been able to cross the boundary and do solidarity shit historically, they want to erase that from the history books. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the real white culture that we're erasing from American history, if anything. I don't even like to call it white culture, scratch that from the book. But, like, the Ludlow Massacre, the Harlan County War, the Battle of Blair Mountain, just
real shit.
Yeah.
Real fuck the
all the stuff I
thing.
discovered because of Midwest black metal bands that would sample documentaries and shit about this shit when I was like 17 through 24 years old. I wasn't learning this shit in any public school, any university. Granted, I wasn't a history major, I was a digital media production major, but like
still.
the only vector through which I was finding out about this shit was that kind of stuff. Yeah, oh man, the double standard you bring up's an excellent point. Alright, I don't want to drive back up the mountain. Don't want to do that. I will do that. I will do that. I think first things first, I need to get down to... I think I need to get down to the ghost dude first, which isn't that hard, although we can go really fast down here from what I remember, so yeah. And then I want to see what materials from this place I can put on the truck. Damn, my truck's so beat up. I just want to drive my truck.
Drink my
I just want
beer.
to drink my beer.
Truck beer.
I just want to
Dog.
shake my ghost baby in a pod till it smiles.
Just want to connect everyone to the chiral
I just want to put
network.
everyone online.
I just want to get Jeffrey Epstein, his little children. Get some more babies to the government.
They send all the pregnant ones down to Mexico for this experiment. I just want to find Sam's truck. I just want to LARP his working class. I don't know any other signifiers besides guns and trucks and fishing and maybe beer.
Literally can't think of anything except maybe going out to Olive Garden.
I hope we're far enough in the song where I can say what I really feel. Can't believe these dipshits are actually buying my stupid music. It's such a cynical cash in, I can't believe it's working.
My God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That was a new one coming off the new country album.
Yeah, Sleepy Zane, hard to say what Sam wants in the game. That also, again, to talk about like Kojima being more game-driven, gamer director-minded than story director-minded, think about how much Solid Snake coasts on cultural recognition of his, like, and a shared sense of like what he's doing is the right thing. There's so much of Metal Gear Solid that hinges on, you know, just taking at face value that like, you know, yeah, war's bad, nuclear proliferation's bad. These things the protagonist is fighting are bad in a real-world context. Like, I am motivated to understand why him and Otacon are doing this. Also, Snake and Otacon having that relationship really also grounds things. There's none of the same kind of recognition in Death Stranding, or it's weaker or less present. I think Death Stranding 1, you know, this is why so many people were like, oh wow, this is really about COVID, because like that was the only real cultural shorthand they can think of for what he was articulating with Death Stranding 1. Although I think if you play Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, if you play Hideo Kojima games up to Death Stranding 1, and you just look at what the pop culture was around just the continuity of history around the whole series, he's very interested in the kind of fracturing of the monoculture and the loss of like a shared narrative. And on an abstract level, I feel like before COVID hit, that's what Death Stranding was going on. And that's kind of the waters it was operating on, more so than like, what if there was a real global pandemic and we lost everything? I do think it's still like a good idea to aim for in a narrative story, and I do like ideologically the whole coming togetherness, like stick versus rope ideas. But so much of that stick versus rope stuff, as seen, is about the gameplay and you're interacting with the game. Like, Sam doesn't really teach you anything or play off of that.
Yeah.
It has been playing the game that reaffirms all these kind of value ideas. And even Metal Gear Solid would, you know, have characters spouting motivations and emotive feelings and wants and needs in a more direct kind of like, this is your obstacle way.
Here's your personal growth.
Whereas characters in here are all like satellite characters hovering around Sam. This makes, I think of Sam a lot too when thinking about like the exceptional stuff we've been talking about, because whereas most heroes in the Batman Clint Eastwood mode like are very guarded, like Sam is clearly like an abused boy. It really is like, I want the game to address this directly, that Sam functions as the best porter because he's like the most beat up guy. I think there's hints of that, but I really wish, I don't know, the game ran with that idea more.
Yeah, like made that more of a center point.
What I do think runs with that idea really good is Berserk.
Ooh.
We played sort of the Berserk Guts Rage way back when we first started the channel. But it is an evergreen example of just really good fantasy manga about this exceptionalism idea. Guts, the exceptional being, never recognizing it. Griffin, always wanting to be exceptional. Literally breaking reality to attain that.
Okay. Oh,
Sam is literally an abused boy. He was the first BB, and his mother is abusive, etc. Yeah. See, and in one, they kind of had that. Like, I forgot completely about the whole "don't touch me" thing, and that was way more present in the story, even like the cutscenes of one. I don't know. I just felt very floaty about the interaction with the crew. Granted, I haven't been stalking the Magellan and doing all the side bits that much, but I don't know. I feel for a game where tomorrow kind of just comes in and kung fu saves you from situations to untie narrative knots. They could do more to make that feel like less of a cheat than it did, if that makes sense. Any jobs I want to take here? Sounds very tired. I should really rest up. Yeah, I'll go to the pizza chef. I'm gonna skip drawing the route for now. Occult magazines, that's tight. We gotta give Mamoru Oshii his occult magazines.
Hell yeah, we do.
So you can write Angel's Egg 2 or something, I don't know. Speaking of Mamoru Oshii, we did watch Ghost in the Shell 2 on the Discord this weekend, and it is also very interested in this idea of exceptions and exceptionalism. Bateau has a really great line about how it is absurd to hold history to the standards of great men, or that it's impossible to hold history to the standards of great men, because, you know, great men, historical tyrants, leaders, kings, monsters, whatever you want to call them, like, they are the exception. Like, it'd be extremely stupid to consider things to be exceptional or in a state of exception all the time. Like, you just can't operate like that. That's not the norm. That doesn't make a functional society. So much of Ghost in the Shell 2 is ruminating on how in Ghost in the Shell 1, Major Kutsuragi is the exceptional individual. She transcends being a physical person. Ghost in the Shell 2 is asking, is that something everybody should want, and what does it mean to reject that? Is that, you know, stupid or meaningful? I think it's meaningful. I think Bateau is a really cool guy, and I would prefer to chill with my dog than be a ghost on the internet. Although both are cool.
Mm-hmm. Both have their merit.
Oh yeah, I was gonna claim materials from this guy. Yeah, Sleepy Zane. I used to like Ghost in the Shell 1 a lot and just kind of have two, and like 2 I was like, I guess I'll check it out eventually. And then I watched 2 and I was like, this is pretty good. But now I'm like, no, 2 is like part 2 of that story. Because...
Like a proper successor.
Yeah, because part 1 of that
continuation.
story is we're watching a character lose their sense of self and become something new from that. But it's very much that individual character's story. Part 2 is following up on like what that individual narrative means consequentially for like the wider social sphere she existed in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's at least like a deeper dive into that same.
And the thing is, so part 2, the main character is her partner from the first movie, and he's one of the few people who like really got her, and they'd have conversations. You can see on a human level, like they're friends. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like want to transcend to techno Jesus, and the movie is very good at making that not a refusal of the call kind of thing, but like the point. Like not everybody needs to make themselves, you know, a Christ-like martyr. That should not be the operational like mode of society.
Yeah.
Man, I love that you're saying the power responsibility thing too, because yeah, that is just, I mean, that's why Spider-Man's so popular within American culture. I mean, I love Spider-Man. I do think there's some great stuff to take away from Spider-Man, but like, I also understand when features of a superhero are being hyper-individualist, exceptional hero narrative-esque. I think it's actually much better to just be like, yes, superheroes can be fascist, but like in like recognizing what aspects of them were fascist, it helps you understand like what fascism actually is and how it operates and how to mitigate like falling prey to that kind of susceptible stuff. It's not like you watch fascist art and suddenly, bam, you're a fascist. You watch fascist art and it gives you a peek into like fascist ideology.
Yep.
Also, I mean, superheroes aren't real. Like, yeah, superheroes can be fascist, but like inherently, like they're not real as a concept. They can be whatever the author decides for them to be. I talked a bit about Ryan North's Fantastic Four last time. And I just want to bring up, I think a lot of the reason people are quick to jump on superheroes or fascist without like thinking, like, it's the same way people are like, wrestling's fake, you know? Like, yeah, people have known wrestling's fake for decades. The kayfabe's part of the fun. People have known superheroes can be fascist. Like, Frank Miller wrote that shit in the 80s. We get it. But I think this mistake keeps popping up because superhero movies definitely more fascist in like in the explicit way, because, you know, getting back to that, movies are exceptional, TV are status quo. The structure of a popular Western movie is that of the hero, the state of exceptional hero. And that mold is very easy to fill with something that looks like a superhero. Like, prior to superheroes being the big mode of Hollywood operation, I mean, you get Sylvester Stallone, you get Arnold Schwarzenegger, you get Clint Eastwood, you get Luke Skywalker, you get RoboCop, you get misreadings of RoboCop is what I'm getting at here. This is why you get idiots who don't know what the fuck Starship Troopers is about, because like you have this mold.
It's a perfect mold.
And I just think a lot of people, the popular perception of superheroes isn't comic books anymore. It's you know, movies and TV shows, and movies and TV shows structurally reinforce fascism in, you know, much more finer and straightforward ways than, like, again, a writer on a serialized monthly comic may be able to get away with stuff. You don't have to pay actors to do a thing. You don't have to sign off on millions. You just draw and write what you want. And if it's like a big corporate-owned book, it might fly under the radar because, hey, it might be IP in the future. They're more worried about the big-budget TV stuff, which is making the margins for them to lose money on the books, which, you know, is kind of their cooking lab for what they're going to steal from 10 years down the line. Because after thinking about the cited Ryan North Fantastic Four comic I was talking about, and oh shit, what?
Whoa! Yes!
I'm like drawn to the battle by this. Like,
Love that.
where am I supposed to be going anyways? I've lost track. I'm supposed to be going to the pizza chef, to Hartman's lab. I can just check my orders for this specifically. Yeah, okay. We'll start with the pizza chef. Yeah, Sleepy Zane, these feel like they're happening way too late in the game. I'm gonna sound like I'm bashing the game, but guys, I've loved this playthrough all the way through. I do think this may be, of the Kojima games I've played, his weakest. It is definitely his least inventive sequel. I'll put it that way. Oh, they're gonna fucking kill me, aren't they? Okay, I got this. Oh, that guy's too far back. Is he even catch up with me? Let's see.
Right, where'd he go?
I think it just hasn't done anything to overturn my feelings from 3 hours in, where I was like, okay, this is going to be mechanically 5 steps up as far as like the added environmental stuff, the added weather stuff, the rock slides, the avalanches. which seem to be getting into like all the structure building stuff faster as well. And yeah, it has been mechanical bliss. It is more of Death Stranding the game that I like. But Death Stranding the story, Death Stranding the narrative concept, it's, yeah, a little flat. But that right there, I just lasered a fucking enemy incoming projectile out of the air, and that just looked cool. These are automated gun systems too, so like it's, you know, once you can buy them, don't worry about like actually doing the work of aiming them. The reward is seeing them do the auto target stuff, which is a haptic gameplay consideration I don't think any game directed by a movie director would ever make. Yeah, Sleepy Zane, I am using less of the zip line. Remarkable condition.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for strapping me, sir. I didn't realize there was teeth. Thank you, Jacob.
Oh, yeah. And it will come out soon.
Oh? The pizza whirlwind kick.
Oh, yeah.
See, I haven't really done the VR training or used the pizza stuff because, again, where my attention feels directed has not been that.
Yeah.
Although, let's see what materials you have. You know what? I have to go there next, so let's take it. We'll just go straight there. And we gotta be very gentle with the pizza, so let's find a good on spot for the road. These raiders better not shoot my shit up too much. Oh, this is a lot of pizza. Okay, I hope I have space.
Damn, pizza homeboy.
Caught with seafood caught in BT areas. Stranded sardines? Holy shit. Yes! Oh no! Oh yeah, Mass, the VR thing I'm mentioning, it's VR training. It's like little tutorial challenges that are on the ship. I'm not talking about putting on like an actual VR headset. Get review.
Sleepy Sam would be so sick.
Maybe get rid of you.
Gonna be terrified in VR. Have to rock a baby in VR. We can do it.
Oh, is my vehicle just fried?
Damn.
No, it's just the capacity still. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, we're all pretty chopped on, I feel you.
All right. Those bikers did fuck me up pretty good with all the bullets. That's why my truck's in such bad repair, but I have to deliver the pizza. I'm so not gonna make this pizza delivery, am I? It's almost like the game doesn't... No, I don't want to go out that far. I was going to say it doesn't need like the combat sections, and the only reason the combat sections are here is to fill out the world, if that makes sense. One of my biggest tensions with this game and the first game is I don't feel the human oppositional enemies, I don't feel they're like really fleshed out as far as motivation and world building stuff goes. Like,
Oh, totally.
like
I was gonna say, it's kind of
considering
like-
there was an apocalypse level event where like ghosts are now roaming the overworld and it's a very terrifying thing, and the general goal of bringing everything back online seems good. I just wish I knew more about like why these dudes wanted to shoot me. Like, I get that Higgs is doing the arms manufacturing thing, but like a lot of like the oppositional human enemies feel like they were just there because the game needed like an enemy that looked vaguely that could fill that slot, you know?
Yeah. Less suited for the piece. So much as like, well, it's shoehorned to a degree.
I have not built my own fencing mask. Jacob, have you ever built your own fencing for anything?
No, I have not actually. I'm like, we getting back to August Wilson?
Mask, what have you grown gardening? Oh, no. Yeah, this pizza's not making it. All right, well, I'm done. I'm not. Mission failed, just gone. You guys have made me very mad. I'm also probably gonna die. Wow.
Sam, can you hear me? Wake up.
Sorry, Lou. I've been taken to the garbage dump, eh?
I see you've returned from the scene at last, Sam. I'm afraid your cargo was stolen, Sam. Taken and stashed in an enemy post box, I believe. Location should be marked on your map. Let's go.
I'm honestly just like, nope, I'm done with it. Sorry, Dollman. I've lost the dog. I'm gonna zip line up to Hartman's lair. We're gonna chill in his sauna. We're gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna get back to doing story stuff. Is what we're gonna do. Ooh, Jari, tell us more.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sleepy Zane, I wonder that as well. I was about to say, like, is that even really Lou? Good thing I built the zip line a while back.
Zipline.
Hope.
much like Troy Maxson, right now, I'm just very angry at everything. And so I'm tripping over myself, destroying everything I loved, and I just want to rest.
I'm just tired, I'm angry.
Tired, I'm angry. My kid came asking me for $10 and I'm gonna be irrationally mad about it even though he always pays me back.
You know it.
I'm not gonna let my son write a football scholarship even though it's extremely promising thing. It's an extremely promising thing for him to be doing at that time and this place.
Right, no, he's gotta be a piece of shit like me. He can't have a better life than me.
Right, no one can have a better life than me.
I had to go through this shit and didn't get my dreams. You don't get to get your dreams.
No, but I get to have an affair and a baby out of wedlock.
Yeah, because I've had a shitty life that I had no part in participating in. It just happened to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat up my son, yell at him with a baseball bat. Gang, Fences is a very good play. I know there's a Denzel Washington film adaptation. I've never seen it, but I might throw that. I might throw that up in the theater if I get a copy. I really want to find the James Earl Jones recording. There was a full stage recording that used to be up on YouTube because it was written for James Earl Jones. If I'm reading things right.
Dude, he is good too.
Because he was the first dude to play Troy Maxton. From what I was reading, because the book I'm reading has the libretto and all that with it, and it does like have the cast listing, and James Earl Jones was there.
Oh hell yeah!
On debut.
Yeah.
Oh, he showed you clips from Fences last week? Okay, gang, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go ahead and do the thing we did last time with the repatriate screen where I just pull up the break screen here. Stand up, stretch your skeletons, rehydrate, smoke them if you got them. It is 9:09. We'll be back with more of Death Stranding 2's story and, 11 to 15 minutes. See you all in a bit. Hello, gang. Welcome back. As I mentioned during the break, Jacob feeling a little under the weather, so I'm gonna go solo for the rest of the night. Got myself a bit of Immortal Dew.
I feel reborn.
Oh, I'm going to feel reborn after I sip this tea, doll man. There's something been going around the house. Our third roommate had something, and then I had it. I think it's just Jacob's turn now. If you noticed, starting last Tuesday on stream, I was a bit throaty, bit sniffly. I'm still very, very clogged up, so hot tea is a nice way of alleviating that. Now, Sleepy Zane, I don't think you've been too harsh or killing the vibe when criticizing Death Stranding 2. I feel the next few sessions might be a lot of that for me as we wrap up and get to the end game. I guess we'll see how far we get tonight, because I'm going to do the Hartman mission and see what happens story-wise with what we're doing. But I forget where I was gonna go with that, but that is nice.
This is living.
Should I stand up and get going? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
I think too, for a certain block of dudes, the stuff Metal Gear Solid is going for is just more meaningful or romantic to them. All right, what are we doing here?
Once again, Sam, I'm sorry. That was one hell of a trip. And you must be absolutely... For my part, I'll have a crack at assessing several potential routes for your next main order. We can discuss them when we take a look at the map later on. As for the cargo, I'll let Charlie tell you all about it.
See, I think Metal Gear Solid 3 is his most romantic.
This is Charlie. Network infrastructure between the Southern Environmental Observatory and
I would be interested in that, Sleepy Zane.
reasons unknown. We strongly suspect
I have a friend who's also nearing the end and has had some similar kind of feelings we've been talking about on another Discord. It'd be kind of fun to maybe do like a post chat.
great for us to establish a direct connection at this time. That being the case, we'll need to utilize the way stations situated between the two sites. The device required to activate them is stored at this facility, collected before embarking on your journey to the distribution center. You know what to do, Sam. We'll rendezvous on site later.
I didn't even realize I had that on me. Drinking Immortal Dew, a Shunpuer.
I see you found a missing cargo mine, and there I thought it had been lost for good. Now displaying your current order grade.
That's such a cool comparison there, Sleepy Zane.
I hope to see you again.
I think the but was I was gonna bring up was that I feel less compelled to fill out the map and do like side quest stuff in this one. I'm kind of ready for it to get to the end. But also in being so close to the end, I'm kind of underwhelmed by I don't know. I'm so in the mindset of like Metal Gear Solid 4 had a 90-minute cutscene, and like so the next thing's gonna top that, right? And the next thing's gonna top that. And I know Death Stranding 1 had like a 3-hour ending cutscene, but I guess I've just been surprised by how little of that kind of eccentricity or quirk has been present in the narrative. Like the Higgs playing the guitar bit was the closest this has come to any kind of like zany thing. Sleepy Zone, just let me know if I am I going to be walking into like a 4-hour ending cutscene? Okay, that's the big thing. I did just lose my truck and all my shit too, so I'm kind of primed to not do. Yeah, you know what? We're just gonna do this big mission here.
Listen up, Sam.
After losing my truck that last time, I'm not really feeling like restarting that whole thing.
There's a number of different viable routes. The shortest, most direct path would involve you cutting through the snowy mountains. A dangerous proposition to say the least. You might find
I'm gonna go around. I think I have enough road to hack it around pretty easily.
but without those conveniences, you'll need to make that deadly trek the hard way. If you're still keen, make sure you pack all the mountain climbing essentials and then some. Alternatively, you could forego the mountain route and circle around.
Yeah, there's enough infrastructure over there.
Though if they're still in disrepair, or there aren't any bridges or other structures available, you'll need to come prepared to put in some work. Finally, heading west around the mountains would mean retracing your steps and going back the way you came. A fair few porters have already made use of that route since you paved the way. I imagine you'll find it easier going than the first time through. That route will also bring you close to the monorail. Get it up and running, and you can catch a ride too. Ultimately though, the route you take and the methods you utilize are entirely up to you. So take a moment to weigh your options and prepare as you deem fit.
See, I didn't do the monorail building at all, and I wonder how that would have made me feel about things, but also, I feel like I have enough roadway. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go around the side there. What up, AR Berlin? That is an interesting recurrence in his game, Sleepy Zane. The fetishization of the protagonist. It's almost the bluntest, you know, so much other storytelling and gaming stuff about like putting you in the seat of the exceptional protagonist is to not comment on it. Like, it's supposed to be just invisible or as is, a given that you're playing the coolest guy in the room. So it's an interesting sense of both discomfort, but also fun. And like, hey, the guy you're playing is kind of hot, right? Like, you
I'm going to claim what I can and maybe fill out the road as I go. We'll see. Hot boy owned by the state. That's a pretty funny framing of it. See, if I had enough stuff on the network, I guess I could just surf that way too. I want the absolute boots. I don't really have materials for anything here, huh? Okay, screw it then. It's gonna be very risky, but going out there naked, basically. I agree on the lingerie bit for sure. Even remember how Volgin checks in Metal Gear Solid 3 when you're wearing the Raiden costume or the Rykov costume or whatever? That's part of the point with 2 when we get into like talking about like postmodernism and deconstructing things. The way, you know, 2 in particular is like you only think you want to be Snake because he's the main protagonist of the game. Like it's not actually cool what he did, and like it's not cool that Raiden's a child soldier. But there's that escapist thrill of like handling them in a controlled narrative environment. Like you've done the VR missions. You don't really want to be this guy in real life, but you want to play the simulation of it. And that sense of like catering to the fantasy that Metal Gear Solid does is, again, like it calls attention to itself in the way it's like, well, you're doing that, but isn't war bad? Well, you're a soldier, but isn't following orders like the worst thing? And in that way, it's doing the postmodern reflexive structural formal play shit that reactionaries would complain about if like a movie were doing it. They'd say it's being too meta. But because the video game has made them feel good about sneaking around as the caked up man shooting things, they're all like, yes, this is an endorsement of these activities. Yeah, Sleepy Zane, and that's a big undercurrent feeling I have with all fiction, because, you know, fiction's fiction. You can't recreate, like, reality in true, like, high fidelity with, like, all the consequences and choices and just, like, systems that are interacting in the real world, because it's the real world. It's so goddamn big, complex, and ultimately immeasurable that, like, a fictional narrative cannot solve that. So it's best when art isn't saying, hey, look here, I have all the answers, all you have to do is listen to me. It's when art's like, hey, does this sound right to you? Like, what's your report? What are you feeling here? It's asking you the question, which is, you know, why, like, there's the stereotype that, like, abstract or, like, avant-garde or pretentious art doesn't have an ending, or, like, it has an open-ended ending, or it's trying to, like, provoke you into thinking in a way that, like, angers people who are conditioned to see these things as consumer products that are to deliver dopamine and that's it. I think Captain Quasar asked early on what makes Kojima games feel different when we started Death Stranding 2, and I said it was this sense of like Kojima wanting to entertain like a context outside of video games itself, like the outside world, like bigger social issues. Granted, they can be like sophomore college student aspirations of what they're asking philosophically, but I mean, if that's where the world is at, it spikes their curiosity, you know? Yeah, Jari, we'll get to Metal Gear Solid 2, and then we're going to do a lot of looking at that cake. At the same time, Stevie Zane, I wonder if I was more of a monorail guy, or if I'd focused on other types of infrastructure than the roads, because I didn't touch the mines much at all. Might my approach at this particular mission be completely different, you know? Is the bankruptcy a bankruptcy on my end of sticking to the roads, of sticking to the truck? This truck built this country. Don't scratch it. Listen here, liberal. My truck's dirty. Yeah, oh man, it's a very effective device in video games. And it has been for a while. In terms of curating a sense that like the space becomes yours. Part of why video games are so goddamn powerful for people is it really because of the interactivity, more so than other art forms, really gets you into the mindset of this is yours. Yeah, the road trades. You're right, Jari. I think Jari's talking about the general like public transport system in Australia. Like this landscapes, this whole side, this is actually a really cool vista. Like the monorail over the water and then the road. I just really haven't seen the continent from this angle yet. Looks like there might be some ghost shit over there. I don't really think I have the resources for it, but let's see what I could feed this this module for the road. Or maybe I just avoid the ghost entirely. I really kind of, after failing to capture that last Pokemon, I don't want to try more. Cool. I hope this road doesn't just end on a cliff. Like, I'm just gonna go over an edge following the road. That'd be the worst. Okay, cool. .5 kilometers long, wow. How many carts was on that job? I was like, do I need to go down this way or can I kind of trek it straight from here? I'm gonna try trekking it straight. Let's see. Oh hey, a mine, cool.
Security measures lifted. Weapons detected. Be advised that usage is restricted inside facility grounds.
It's cool, I'm not stopping here.
Disengaging weapons restrictions.
That's pretty funny, Mask. Literally off the truck. All my old cargo. That's fine. I am zen with it. I have decided I could let the delivery go. A lot of medals, a lot of pizza, a lot of disappointment, but we carry forward. All right, before we walk into just a danger zone, let's see what this does for us. There go all my metals, all my ceramics. May another porter find them and find them useful.
Do I want to use the ramp to do no damage on the drop? Or is there an easier way to get down? What an angle for this ramp. Okay, let's see. Let's do this. Okay, cool. We did it, gang.
Security measures lifted.
I may be speaking too soon. Maybe it's after I do the delivery, but I was kind of surprised there wasn't like a boss or a curated encounter to worry about. Practically perfect. You will never ever be alone, eh?
I'm looking forward to seeing you. Okay.
All right, all of Tasmania is down there.
Now displaying your current order grade.
Well, looks like we're finally on the chiral network. I really respect what you Drawbridge folks have been doing. Being a part of it all is such a great... The situation here was pretty dire. It broke my heart when the Earth opened up and swallowed Cardinal Fawkes.
Damn.
I doubt these anomalies will get any better, and
But also that's why there's the giant lake in the center of the continent, right?
a bit further to go. I just
Only a bit further.
Most mech sighted in this region lately won't slow you down. There was... So, to better prepare you for whatever he has planned, don't hesitate to use it. Yeah. The ground beneath it became incredibly unstable. Possibly due to the craziness with the tower currents. With the city gone, an alternate route for chiral network expansion had to be devised. The plan was to...
Whoa,
separate
Jari, I kind of want more info on that once I'm done here.
to Terminal Fort Knot. That's no longer an option either. But I'm confident that the network stabilizer you brought is just the thing we need to deal with this latest complication. We'll do what we can to provide support. Looking forward to working with you. Once upon a time, I had aspirations of joining Fragile Express. Wanted to work alongside the living legend herself. Help her to reconnect the world, one delivery at a time. But circumstances often dictate the course of our lives, you know? So I ended up joining an APAC distribution team instead. Regardless of who I work for, I'd like to try and support Fragile's mission. Do what I can to unite the people in the same way she has. Thank you.
I guess too, in the first game, I was so skeptical of Fragile, and I didn't really feel like the trust was earned or developed.
Our limited number of staff.
I don't know, I think Kojima kind of wants you to just like these characters as is without going through much work to really dramatize or make them meaningful.
The very best of luck.
Just kind of quirky.
Sam, the tar currents are behaving strangely again. We're unable to rendezvous with
Oh shit, is it Nirvana time?
conditions are similar to when we observed that tar fall phenomenon before. I strongly urge you to proceed with caution.
See, I think Metal Gear Solid games so thoroughly have the structure of the mission stitching everything together into an airtight sensibility. Also, this is like an open world thing, has to have a bit more latitude, whereas like, you know, a more linear action game can be more curated and pointed in what it wants you to do. Okay. Let's take some blood bags. Take some absolute boots. I'm assuming Nirvana is going to require a battle skeleton. I'm like gearing up for some real battle stuff going on. All right, put this all on Sam. Oh, is my utility pouch full? Or do I not have a utility pouch? What's going on here? Oops. Okay, here we go. So I have a lightweight shotgun, I have a grenade launcher. And I have the multi-rocket launcher. Okay. I'm kind of stripping down to my most Wolverine survivalist, like guns and murder self. I'm making murder hobo Sam, the thing I've been talking about this whole session with the exceptional hero, the one who gets to legally kill. That's part of the fantasy in America. There's the FD signifier video that talks about this. I know I've heard Hassan bring this up a bit in regards to when Kyle Rittenhouse was big in the news. Just like the American myth of like, not even myth, it's like it's the pursuit of a righteous kill. Like you getting to be the exception, get to be the cool guy who's like, I broke the law, but also I get to talk about how I broke the law because I broke the law for the right reasons. Which
How many movies have the cop who has to, you know, leave the force but still solve the crime? Okay, I can get more blood bags now. Maybe a machine gun. No, I can't afford the machine gun. Oh man, I'm only on hour 1 of the Tyler Perry video, but I was enjoying it. It is making me think of Tyler Perry as doing sort of Forgotten Woman or Forgotten Black Woman in the way he found an audience that needed to be served. I'll take a bolt gun just in case. All right. I think we're pretty set for whatever lies on the horizon. Let's go for it. Right? I just walk outside? Yep. Okay, Jari, take that into note. I do like logistics. It's one of the reasons I found it fascinating working at like a grocery store. It's just seeing actually how like the floating numbers translate to real world deliveries and supply. Logistics, weird. I pursued the thing I like? Weird. Am I not supposed to just be at the whims of what TV tell me? I mean, Sleepy Zane, there's kind of the whole like sim and strategy genres for that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I don't really perceive myself as having the time to get involved in like a Hearts of Iron or like a grand strategy thing, but it seems like that'd be the jam. But yeah, also like more industrial stuff. The stuff I'm thinking of, it's either war or medieval ages. Maybe, you know, a more pointed factory sim might be up my alley. All right, plot shit is happening. Fine meal. Just free adjust that. All right, gang, honestly, I need to use the restroom. So we're gonna take a quick break while I go relieve myself, and then, boy, have I been loving these Nirvana sections, so I'm gonna go hog here, but we'll be right back. Let me throw up that bumper screen, and we'll see you in a few. Alright, and we are back for another excellent Nirvana section. Also, I'm seeing some names thrown out for some logistics-based games. AR Berlin says Timberborn, Beavers, Food and Water. That one sounds the most appealing so far. Also, yeah, Sleepy Zane, one thing about gaming in general I really enjoy is 2D games can just be now. I mean, I'm thinking about the last State of Play I watched where there was like a new Castlevania. What I'm bringing up is like, I feel gaming has evolved past the newest games being like the most graphically realistic looking, prettiest. I think a huge bit of like the indie boom in the 2010s got people looking backwards at like what Super Nintendo and Game Boy games, for instance, did good that maybe in the rush to make everything 3D we forgot worked. Okay. You know what, instead of putting off this encounter, let's just go for it. Alright. Okay. Area for women and girls? Okay, so we're in Mexico. I assume. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah. Whoa. Okay.
Gravity's weird. You okay, Sam?
Interesting. Okay. Okay, dead end, dead end. Ah, oh shit. Neil, where'd you go? Damn, okay. Yeah, Jari, I'm glad we got back to some 2D fun, especially because Hollow Knight's so damn good.
Still have minions to spare.
Nice, okay.
Heads up.
Yeah, this music rocks.
Sam, Neil's above us.
Oh shit, he's upside down. Okay, okay, okay. Whoop. Why wasn't it locking on there? Oh, hell yeah, okay. Haha! Gotcha, alright. Hahaha, okay, cool, 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 cool. Oh, I thought I had one left. Oh well. Where's my grenade launcher? Oh wait. Nice. They had him retract the mask for that. Cool detail. Oh. Huh. Ugh. Shit.
Somebody please help me! This way. Let's go.
Damn. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Help me! Dad! Mom! Help me!
Oh shit.
Help me, please! Help! Help! Please! Don't leave me!
Oh shit, was that tomorrow? He couldn't. If that is, man, fuck. Okay.
Did you see that, Sam? I believe we were just shown a vision of events from Neil's past. Is it possible he was trying to communicate something? In any case, we need to go after him.
Yeah, Sleepy Zane, I still see the auto going.
Find the answers you seek.
Oh shit, okay. Let's find him. Yeah, don't tell me anything, Sleepy Zane. I'm asking out loud, but I'm sure, I'm confident, like, if I just keep playing. I may not get a full answer, but I'll see what the game's trying to tell me. But my running theory before we get to the next scene is that that girl is Tomorrow, or the original version of Tomorrow that Neil was not able to save, and I don't know, being stuck in Nirvana, trying to do it over and over and over again. That's why Tomorrow is like a construction of the chiral. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Hey, oh man, you don't want to... I just saw your traumatic memory. I want to be a rope, not a stick. You're the only compelling antagonist the series has had. Just saying, I like you more than Higgs. As a narrative device, you're my favorite thing about the game, even though the game's a bit undercooked with you. Oh, man. Fuck. Okay. Oh yeah?
Sam, this whole carriage is going down. Forget about Neil. We need to keep moving.
Oh my god.
Just to make it more romantic.
Yeah, this is a well-directed moment. I mean, say what I want about like the incongruencies or like rough edges of the game. This piece of music with this protracted conflict is working on me as a set piece. Like, shit, where'd he go? Like, the thing I was talking about with not Dead Man, Die Hard Man. The way Die Hard Man's ideas were all in cutscene and story and kind of withheld Death Stranding 1 till the end, I really like that Neil as an antagonist, at least the read I have on Neil as antagonist is, yeah, he's the stick that refuses to even try to become a rope. He's been stuck in like his memory pattern, Nirvana cycle, for who knows how long. I don't know, it strikes me as a dude who can't get past like one video game. Not in the sense that he can't beat it, but like he's beaten it many times. And it's what he wants to specialize in, even if it's like, hey man, like, especially with the breaking up of the fight into that second part, I really did like how it's like, no man, I'm really trying to talk to you. From Lucy?
What is this? Keep Lucy safe.
Oh? Bridges, eh? Okay.
No smoking, please. So you are near Van. What do you do? For living?
I'm a porter.
He does have a striking face, Sleepy Zane. I really like it. He's a porter.
We're good for me. Me. So you made it there.
Sorry.
I really don't remember.
Ah. Okay.
Stop!
There are. Just you and me. Independent criminal. Guilty of illegally entering our country on multiple occasions.
The only thing that I'm guilty of is doing my work.
And by way of compensation, we have overlooked your crimes. Thank you. If you refuse, there will be severe repercussions.
Bring it on, because I'm not doing this shit anymore.
But what makes you think you have a choice? Neil? You understand me? Neil? Neil! Going to do this job, Neil.
What's wrong?
I need to get out. This project work is killing me. It's fucking killing me. But I've done it so wrong.
We can talk tomorrow. What kind of cargo have they got you carrying? This is a safe space. You're not recorded. What kind of cargo?
Carmine. Bring that. Bring it me.
No one would possibly allow that.
Just mount with me. They make me bring them over from Mexico.
The government would never do crimes, guys. They get to define what they are.
You must sacrifice.
Okay. Neil, take a deep breath.
If it's illegal, they simply can just make it legal, and then everything's better, right? Because what's legal is what's moral and ethical.
Breathe. With me. 1.
You're wearing my scarf. What?
There's this car. I think someone's watching me.
You mind this guy?
Yeah, that's the car.
I'm pretty sure it's a security vehicle. Check it in. No, look. Okay.
Stop it. Be sure to delete all those.
Yeah. See?
So it seems like he's the father. The baby's still the extended. someone that you describe.
How sure are you?
This thing between us.
Oh man, those eyes.
No. No, it was not a mistake. It was not a mistake.
We just got,
Look at me.
we got caught up in our emotions. We weren't thinking straight, so
It was not a mistake. I don't care if it's his baby you're carrying. To say I love you.
I love him, Neil. Which means this has to end. Sorry.
Okay, it's more than just he was stuck. He could, like, even trying to move forward structurally, what he's done for the system has glued him. Fuck.
Well, it would seem that Neil has vanished. If he managed to achieve some form of nirvana, I couldn't say. I doubt we'll be seeing him again. Which just leaves the matter of that curious gift he gave you. Only Fragile can tell us more.
Okay, so it wasn't as... when I was in that fight, Sleepy Zane, you see how I was trying to tie tomorrow into it and try to have, like, every piece of this game somehow stitched together in a more maybe coherent than it is whole? I mean, that didn't happen, but I'm not disappointed with what's been revealed about Neil. I was very fascinated by that cutscene, and I really like the implications it provides. It's also a good lesson in not getting mad when a story is doing what it wants and not what you think you want or demand out of it.
Now displaying your current order grade.
Oh, it seems all the possessions you had earlier are in that open space over there. The vehicle also looks none the worse for wear.
Yeah, L-Man, this is the end of tonight's stream. I'm going to save, and we're going to wrap up. I still don't know how busy Lux is, so maybe tomorrow we continue on with the plot and finish this game up this week. Otherwise, we'll be back Thursday with more Death Stranding 2. I know I've been talking Metal Gear Solid 2. I'm not sure if we're going to go straight into Metal Gear Solid 2 from Death Stranding 2, but you know what? Stick around and find out. The next 2 weekends are a little rocky too, so I don't know at this time if we're going to be watching Deep cover this upcoming weekend or not. We have some off-stream stuff we have to tend to this upcoming weekend, and then I know next weekend Michael Burns is in town. We're going to be doing fun stuff with him. As always, check out Michael Burns, check out Wizworld Live, check out all the stuff Lux is doing out there. We got Fight Opera coming up. I want to give a shout out to Anna Marie Cox as well. She's been doing some good stuff. I'm going to go now and do some more cutting and editing for Mr. Burns while watching that new FD Signifier video on Tyler Perry. It seems very much in line with a lot of what we've been talking about here as far as the exceptional individual and the hero narratives of neoliberal capitalism. And yeah, Sleepy Zane, you know, I was talking this whole session about story curation, stuff like that. I want more scenes like that. I want more 20-minute segues, even for how brittle this game can be at times. Like in a vacuum by itself, that was a well-directed scene. Like it does invest you and reinvest you in the drama and remind you of what's going on in the game. So yeah, we'll leave it there for tonight. Y'all take care. I'll see you either tomorrow or Thursday here on Techno Poverty. Love each other, y'all. See you later, Techno Hotties. Forehead kisses.